Hey there, 8th graders, and welcome to today's Explainer. So let's be honest for a second. Have you ever just stared at a blank screen, or maybe an empty sheet of paper, feeling completely frozen and wondering how on earth to even start your writing assignment? If that sounds familiar, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're talking about architecting the draft. We're going to explore this really exciting concept that literally every strong piece of writing out there begins with a solid plan. Think about a builder, right? They would never just start throwing bricks together without a blueprint. Well, as writers, we shouldn't either. Okay, let's dive into this and look at our roadmap for today. First up, we have the map for your trip. Then, knowing your exact destination, followed by plotting your writing route. After that, we'll go over your 5-step action plan, and finally, we'll wrap things up with the ultimate moral compass. Let's get moving. All right, section 1, the map for your trip. So have you ever started writing, your fingers are just flying across the keyboard, only to stop a few paragraphs in and realize you've completely lost your own plot? Yeah, that happens when you don't have a plan. Writing without a plan is exactly like going on a massive road trip without a map. You might end up somewhere, but definitely not where you wanted to be. It's frustrating, and you just end up wandering way off topic. But writing with a plan, that actually saves you time. It gives you clear directions so you know exactly where your sentences are driving, and that lets you focus purely on making your ideas clear, engaging, and super powerful. Now, this isn't just some new trick invented for middle school. This is actually ancient wisdom. Proverbs 21:5 tells us, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." When you apply this idea to your homework, it proves that taking the time to be diligent, actually taking the time to plan, saves you from the frustration, or the poverty, of a messy, confusing draft. Basically, haste just makes waste, and that is especially true in composition. Moving right along to section 2, knowing your exact destination. Before we even start the engine on this writing road trip, we have to figure out exactly where we're heading. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we define our passengers. Your audience represents the specific people who will be reading your work. You simply can't draw a reliable map if you don't know who's coming with you on the trip. I mean, are you writing for your teacher, your classmates, maybe your parents? Knowing your audience totally changes the words you use, the examples you choose, and just the overall vibe of your writing. And right next to your audience is your purpose. This is the real reason why you're writing in the first place. This is your ultimate destination at the end of the road. Are you trying to inform someone about some facts? Are you trying to persuade them to agree with your opinion? Or are you maybe just trying to entertain them with a really great story? Your why determines your tone, your structure, and your style right from the starting line. Let's move to section 3 and see how this builds. Plotting your writing route. Okay, it's time to put all of this theory into practice. Let's look at some real-world writing routes. Notice how perfectly the topic and the plan match the purpose here. If your purpose is to persuade your classmates, well, your topic might be starting a school recycling program. Your plan? You'd need reasons, solid evidence, and practical solutions to convince them. Now, if your goal is to inform, you might choose a historical figure, like Martin Luther King Jr. Your plan will naturally map out his early life, his major achievements, and his lasting impact. And finally, if your purpose is simply to entertain, you might pick something like a lost puppy adventure, where you'd map out the characters, the setting, and the plot events. Seriously, matching your topic to your purpose makes the actual writing part so much easier. To build those plans, we use brainstorming, and it's a pretty simple flow. First, you choose a topic you either already know about or really want to learn about. Then, you identify your purpose. Next, you brainstorm your ideas by just getting everything out of your head. No bad ideas at this stage. And finally, and honestly, this is the magic step right here. You organize those ideas so your writing flows smoothly. Organizing your brainstormed thoughts keeps you on track. It acts kind of like the guardrails on a highway, preventing you from wandering off into completely unrelated random topics. Which brings us to section 4, your 5-step action plan. All right, 8th graders, let's shift gears and talk directly about your actual homework assignment. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact chronological checklist you need to build your personal map for your persuasive paragraph draft. Step 1, choose a topic for a persuasive paragraph and jot down your purpose. Step 2, write 3 questions your audience might have about your topic. Step 3, brainstorm 5 key ideas you want to include. Step 4, describe your audience in 1 or 2 sentences. And Step 5, write a clear 1-sentence statement of purpose for your draft. If you follow these 5 steps, I promise you, writing the actual paragraph will feel like coasting downhill. Now for our final stop, Section 5, the ultimate moral compass. So let's slow our pacing down just a little bit right here. We've talked a lot about the mechanics of writing, right? The maps, the road trips, the planning, but zooming out to the bigger picture of why we even learn is just as important as the mechanics of a single paragraph. So the crucial point is that the Heroesmart Academy Godly Learners series purposefully intertwines biblical morality with your education. Why? Because education without morality will ultimately hurt. Think about this question for a second. What is the point of being smart and supposedly highly educated if you continue to make bad choices that end up hurting yourself or others? Making smart choices on the page, like perfectly organizing your draft, must translate into making smart, grounded, and moral choices in your actual life. An empty intellect without a moral foundation is, well, it's kind of like a super fast sports car with no steering wheel. And this is exactly why we look to our spiritual anchor. Romans 8:6-7 promises true peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. This is our experience, and it's the experience of people who truly engage with this way of living. When your mind is anchored spiritually, you don't just become a better student, you gain a profound peace of mind that can carry you through absolutely any challenge life throws your way. So I want to leave you with this final, really vital thought. Today, you learned exactly how to draw the map for your writing so you don't get lost on the page. But as you step away from this explainer today, I want you to ask yourself, do you have the moral compass for your life? A great plan makes a great paragraph, for sure, but a godly compass makes a great life. Good luck with those drafts, 8th graders, and I'll see you in the next explainer.